Troy ATX RC Productions, CheFPV, ATX Drone Space, all that stuff. 3DR Solo Owners and Productions group on Facebook. You can find us at all those spots. You can find us pretty much anywhere at DJIDroneReview.com, ATXRCProductions.com, CheFPV.com. All those are going to redirect you to Facebooks or YouTubes for now. Pretty soon, all of that is going to be new content and places to find all different types of content and all their different various sources. Maybe even a few online stores, who knows? But what we are here today to talk about is the DJI Phantom 4. Now, across the table right here is a little bit of my history, if you would, or what I am when it comes to this drone world, this world of FPV multirotors and everything you see here. So, what we got is people more than likely know me most of the time from the 3DR Solo product. I was one of the first 30 to receive a 3DR Solo. I ordered it very shortly after being announced, like many people. And I posted many videos in anticipation of it, when I got it, when the gimbal finally came, and contributed very heavily to the 3DR Solo owners community. I used to be in the main 3DR owners group, but I am no longer for quite a while now. Right around the time of the gimbal release, they decided to boot me for the fact that I was a little negative about the way the gimbal came out and what was the initial product. But that being said, I've always said the 3DR copter itself is an amazing copter. I have been known to talk about DJI equipment, and more in particularly, very specifically, the P3 series. The P2 and the P1 I kind of consider a first gen unit that kind of transferred into a second gen, very similar. So those units I actually have some respect and some regard for. In particular, the DJI, the very first Phantom, the FC40, very sophisticated aircraft in terms of its day and its technology of the day and timing, and even its price point back then was right on par with what the technology was, especially what was incorporated in, which was basically the initial stages of NASA flight controllers and all of that such. GPS, all of this was basically a NASA unit, which was a $400, $500 unit with GPS stuffed inside of a consumer drone. So it was awesome. It really was. It was the beginning of all of this. That being said, my only issues with DJI over the years were I built a 450 off of a NASA V2 setup. Amazing flight controller. I updated it one time when I first got it and it flew flawlessly for over a year. I took exception to the P3 series mainly when I saw a huge regression in technology and quality of technology being utilized. So open up a P3 and compare it to, let's say, a P1, which is Gen 1, or actually technically Gen 2, but the FC40/Phantom 1. Take a look at those two internals and you will see a dramatic drop off again. In terms of the day and age that technology is being utilized, especially. I'm sorry, the P3 copter itself is nothing to be greatly appreciative of. It is made from very low quality materials and is put together in a way that makes it almost unserviceable. The arms in particular crack all the time. The plastic, again, great quality issue right there to show. But one thing that DJI has learned through this whole process and has really done well is from the FC40, the original series, and the original S900 and the 1000, the DIYs, the gimbal. They concentrated very early on the gimbal technology, and then once they realized the GoPro was not really going to be the best camera for the future, they developed their own cameras. This is where DJI has always shined and I've always respected. So that brings me to the P4. Many people are questioning why I got a P4 if I hate DJI. I don't hate DJI. Again, I respect the heck out of DJI's work. The P3 to me was a regression that was a slap in the face to the consumers, and it was a money grab for all the inexperienced users and to get drones. As much as I understand it, I didn't respect it. And I didn't trust the copter. I've repaired enough of them to know the copter I did not trust. I trusted the copter here, hated the camera system. P4. The Phantom 4 has a lot of interesting ties to different things. You know, Apple being the first to launch, people are upset about it. People are questioning what the combination of that means. I don't know. I can tell you that I've reached out to some people that I know should know, or have told me they should know if there's some real deep collaboration. They all say nay. Not to be one that's very often tries to go against the grain and say that there's some controversy or, let's say, some conspiracy going on, but I don't think there's a conspiracy as much as there might be a very, very low level need to know on this. I think that if that's the case, it might come out pretty quickly though, and I think that's what's intended. I personally think that the Apple sales association with this, coupled with when I got my hands on it and looked at it and felt it, feels like Apple has more to do with it than you really want to think about or admit. Which to me is a good thing. I know there's Apple haters. Look, I used to be an Apple hater. Up until 3 years ago, I never had an i anything. But now I've got a Mac and an iPhone, and I'll be honest, Apple does some great things for technology and logistics and all-in-one technology. I know others do too. But keep a tight leash on things, right? They're a lot like DJI. They're not open source completely like DJI is not open source. Android is much more 3DR, open source, API, APM. This Zero Drone, this is a turnkey solution that was at CES last year as being sold. Anybody that wanted to buy it could buy 10,000 units and make it Zero Drone, their name. It came from a company called Zero Tech with a Z, not an X, which is interesting. This is what the P3 is, or the Solo technically can be. These are all off-the-shelf products mashed together and used open source technology with products that are readily manufactured already. These are nothing special. If you had a relationship with an Apple and a DJI, where both are very conscious of keeping their stuff to them, you could see some really interesting and powerful things come out of what is essentially the most powerful drone and the originator, founder of the drone, industry. It's just interesting to think about. I don't know. So we'll stop talking about that. Just something to think about, that the stars just line up for me. And I don't care what all the insiders and all the people that I have talked to, or the dots connect. And I'm all about connecting dots. So we've had a Parrot, we've had mini multi-rotors, the Zero Drone, the 3DR. We got a Phantom 3. We've flown it already, but I wanted to show you guys one of the great things about a Phantom 4. About the Phantom 4. So this is the case that it comes in. First, another smartly designed product or item, part of the packaging, which DJI's never been known for great packaging, to be honest. This thing could easily be a backpack. In fact, once you open it up, you'll see the foam is the same shape as many of the backpacks and cases. So I find it funny that they didn't just throw some sort of cheap strapping on there, or give it at least a bag with some straps, which you could easily do, like grab a big knapsack and stitch it over. It'd be awesome. But you flip the latch, twist it, pull it up, and it opens up. Hinges and all. It's a nice little cheap case. So you get to where you're going, boom. I will say, let's go ahead and grab, I run an iPad mini 2 with Wi-Fi and 3G, prepaid through H2O wireless if you haven't followed the Solo. So this is how quick you can get set up with this thing, man. So we're here. Gimbal clip, very smart, quick, and easy to use. I'll talk about that later. Actually, I'll talk about it now. Make sure it's aligned. Put one side on first, align the camera, and then clip the second side in. It's easy to not get it aligned right, and it can stress the gimbal. Pop a battery in. And what I really wanted to show you was the props. Make sure you notice the props, they have black dots. It's easy to miss, and those correspond with the black rings. It took me a second, but once you do that, the pop-on prop, that's it. Done. Sounds silly, but these quick prop-on props that are supposedly better too, there it is. We're ready to fly. Now, we're not gonna fly here. In fact, I'm gonna turn this thing off just in case, but I just wanted to show that, look, I've never had a huge issue with the DJIs other than when I picked one up and I felt flex in the chassis, which I don't have here at all, or I picked one up here and the legs were just bendy and again, not there. Even this camera just looks cooler for some reason, even though it's not much different. But huge thing for me, the incorporation of the gimbal into the copter, or more importantly, all of the light bridge and all the VTX and all the other hardware that was on the outside of the P3, poor design for me. I hated it. Every person that crashed that I fixed had to have something replaced there. And it was a miracle that the light bridge portion of it didn't need to be replaced. So having that more protected and inside and just the clean look of it, this thing resembles from the shape a P3, P2, P1, but get one in your hands. From the pictures until you hold one, it is not the same. Again, the Apple weird quality stuff here. Take a pair of their headphones and take a look at them. Feel the plastic, look at the plastic, look at the little grating for the ventilation on the arms here, and look at the little ventilation on your earphones. The inlaid DJI label, not a sticker. No more of those stupid stripes. Open up the battery compartment and look inside. Now, even better yet, look at the picture I'm posting. Look at the components used. It's just different. The GPS is still right here, but you can even see it. It's right there. It just looks finished and polished to a level that's not been DJI's style ever. It's just, again, interesting. I don't know. You know, white on gray. I mean, it's just saying, with silver, the props, definitely different plastic than they've ever used. And I mean, so we took it for some flights. The thing flies great. I do understand what people say about it kind of taking off and feeling a little weird at first. It does. But flying a solo, it actually kind of feels very similar in the way that the autopilot features, I think, are working. We did some range testing, and we're going to do a whole video on that real quick after this, but I just say I got in congested area downtown where I flew the solo with stock duckies. I got 1,900 feet, and on this I got about 3,600, I believe, 36 or something like that. So a mile, and I got a third of a mile. I will say those duckies, I probably would prefer to compare them against the FreeSky 5 DBIs because they're more similar to the antenna size and selection that comes on the DJI. And I'll do that at another test. But it was just stock versus stock. Battery life is amazing so far. It really is 24 minutes or maybe more. It's enough for me to be noticeably more than my solo and all my other copters. So whatever they're doing there, really cool. I'll be honest, another part of my Apple conspiracy is these batteries, man. They're just crazy. They're 4-cell, but they've got air gaps between them all. Again, just interesting. Really smart design of everything. The secondary arm pivot point here on the gimbal is really great. All the cameras, the 2 on the bottom, the 2 in the front for the obstacle avoidance, as well as the 2 basically sonar units, or I don't remember what they're technically called. The lighting everywhere is cool. It's got lighting, different types of lights. The LEDs at the bottom, the lens covers are totally redesigned. They extend to the edges, the LEDs do, so you get really great lighting. You can still kill all the lights, all that stuff. The zoom, there is a zoom feature on the camera. We'll show that. You can pinch the zoom, the photos or the video. We'll actually do a whole video on that here in a minute too. So all these things we'll talk about. I just wanted to get it out there that this is really going to be an interesting copter to fly. I already just, after flying the first flight, went and got a second battery. We'll do a quick unboxing of the second battery. So crappy cheap box that DJI always uses. I've always hated. It's like it's supposed to be inside of like the actual main box, but there you go. It's nice and protected with foam. So another battery, 2 bars on it. There you go. So I got about almost an hour worth of flight time right there. pretty cool. I would like to consider that. I think this thing can carry some different payload sizes, and I'd be interested to see if they end up coming out with a larger type of camera or a different type of camera. For now, obviously, I mean, that camera works and there's no problem with it, but pretty cool. Sorry, I had a quick little video glitch there. So yeah, I mean, in final conclusion, dude, this is the copter that the P3 should have been. This is the copter that should have came out after the Inspire. Quality is up, it looks like, it's especially in at least the components and what it's looking like, feel and all that. It flies like a DJI that has always flown, which is great as far as the flight controller is what I mean by that. And if everything else is quality and up to speed, then I'd say this is definitely supreme right now. And I'm not saying that I'm a full convert here. I still like the Solo, but there was never a different. I mean, they're different tools and different experiences. So definitely more consumer friendly and prosumer as far as get it, throw it up there, go. We'll see what support is like with the Apple Care / DJI Care, whatever it's called. It's really a great idea for them, especially if they can get Apple to start servicing these things when needed. But hopefully they don't need servicing. I mean, I'm not getting the Apple Care, knock on wood, or DJI Care. I'm going to trust that I'll be able to fix something if it goes wrong, but I hope it doesn't go wrong. So we'll see. Just a great, piece of hardware here. And speaking of hardware, last thing, Hex hardware. They used Hex hardware. No more mixed of the Philips hardware and the Torque hardware. It is full on Hex hardware. Another sign of something has changed there as far as the components and who's deciding on how it goes together. So interesting. Fly safe, fly smart, fly for fun. Be on the lookout. We got many more videos. In fact, I'm going right into another one right after this. It'll be much shorter though. Fly safe, fly smart, fly for fun, fly 3DR, fly Zero Drone, fly DJI, fly Parrot, fly FPV, Multirotor Mania, and Voodoo. Just fly for fun. Fly CheFPV. Peace.